all I can say really is like I try to do whatever um interests me, and whether it be what scares me or what excites me, and as opposed to, trying to write for or create for an audience, because I find that then it loses a certain authenticity, and all I can do is create something that I get excited about and just hope that other people find a similar excitement in it. And so maybe I've had a fair amount of luck with people relating to what I get excited about, something like that.
How important was it for you to find this pagan myth or legend to create a movie after this idea?
Well, I read it as a script. So Tom DeVille had written a script that delved into much of this, and then for me, just like being an American, and not having quite the rich history that the UK and all of Europe has, um, these kind of stories, like, I was just super fascinated by it, and I found that, even the people I was working with, who all had stories of similar villages, similar architecture, similar festivals, um, they grew up with these like in their life, but I haven't. So for me, I was like, oh, this is really something that's different. Um, and me hopefully telling a story about this world will resonate with other people like me who are super interested in it, but just don't know that much about it.
How is the culture of fear? I mean, we live with fear on daily basis. Why do you think we like horror movies if we have enough reasons to be scared in the real world?
Yeah, it's a weird thing, isn't it? I mean, it's like an amusement park. Like, why do people like to go on roller coasters and almost make themselves sick, and scream and go to haunted houses and get scared around every corner? It's a form of escapism that doesn't feel quite like reality, but I think sometimes the best horror does strike close to home, and that's the kind of stuff that stays with people and is the scariest. But it's a fascinating thing, like how we like to scare ourselves. um and I think also, it's like we can tell great stories in this genre, any kind of story, any kind of style. And so I think it makes it fun for an audience that really feels, connected to the genre. It's there's a really strong base of people who absolutely love horror and always will.
What brings you into what is your fascination with horror films?
I think it's just because, like Stephen King said, we create horrors to help us deal with the real ones. And for me as a kid, like I attribute horror films with kind of growing up in a broken household, where my parents, that's kind of my babysitter, was movies, and in particular kind of scary movies, because that's what my parents like to go see. And my sister, more than anything, who was 5 years older, so she dragged me along or showed me stuff at home, that was very scary that I shouldn't have seen at a young age. And it's the kind of stuff that just stuck with me. And I think a lot of people have very early memories of a horror film, and um why that sticks with people, I can't say for sure, but but it does. And it does allow us an opportunity to tell, very personal stories in kind of dark and twisted ways that we can push a message, without the story being preachy. It can still be fun, and if scary is fun to you, it can be fun that way.
Um, Tell me at what level. No, can you tell us what the film about, Lords of Misrule? Because we don't use narration, so we'll use your pitch if you want.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, Lord of Misrule is about a female vicar in a small town called Barrow, and she's been there with her husband and young daughter for about 10 months, and she experiences her first harvest festival at the town, which has very pagan roots, but of course they're not practicing. But that night of the festival, her daughter goes missing. And so then the story becomes about her search for her daughter, and then the town helping, but then maybe not helping. And then her kind of coming to grips with the idea that maybe their pagan history is something they still believe in, and what, and then it becomes about what lengths she would go to save her daughter or her daughter's soul.
So she really has this contradiction, no?
Yeah. Well, because,
Sorry.
no, yeah, I mean, she's, she's the parish priest, she's the vicar, and so she holds a lot of responsibility in her church and the locals who attend her church, which aren't many, and because they attend a different church in that town that she doesn't know about at first, and for them, the idea of possibly turning a Christian vicar to their beliefs is very enticing for them, and they go to great lengths to try to do it.
What could you tell us a little about the cast for the film? It worked
Yeah,
really well, I think. Mother and
yeah.
daughter.
The core of the cast is the Holland family, and so Tuppence Middleton plays Rebecca, who she's just amazing, and she has a very kind of witchy dark side to her that she loves these kinds of stories, so that made for a great partner in making it. She was very involved with polishing the script with me, and bringing that character to life. She really cared about everything, and it shows. um Matt Stocco plays her husband, and he, being from that area, he is such a sweet guy, but he has all these very strange memories um, of those types of festivals and the type of pagan rituals, like that he would find on his walls in his attic, and then Evie Middleton, I'm sorry, not Evie Middleton, Evie. Wait, what is her last name?
Grace,
Evie.
I mean.
Yeah, Grace.
That's okay.
Somebody, does anybody remember her last name? Um, I'm just trying to figure out, because I know I confuse it with Middleton because it's similar. But anyway, yeah, Grace is, she's new to town with her family, and she's trying to fit in, and her mother spends more time caring about her flock than she does her own family, and her husband spends more time writing than he does with his daughter. And so, thank you, Evie Templeton. Um, and so Evie Templeton was someone we found in casting, and she was just very striking, the way she looks, and she was just a very old soul who, even though her character Grace is not necessarily in as much of the movie as the other main characters, she still drives the story, And then Ralph Ineson plays Jocelyn Abney, who is kind of the leader of the town, I guess you'd call him. And he's somebody who is a good friend and a collaborator I've worked with before, and I'll keep working with. And he just always brings something really special to every role he does. And this was, I think, as dynamic a role for him as I imagine he's ever done.